Hi Jane, I'm Chrislyn. Congratulations on making it to the interview stage with VIPKID. I'm very excited for you. I've put together some tips, tricks, things that I wish that I would have known before I started VIPKID. I hope they're helpful to you. I have them in 4 categories. The first would be before your interview. Woo! You're going to want a direct connection, an Ethernet cord that will connect you directly to your internet. It's not as big of a deal during your interview process, so don't panic if you don't have it now. But once you start interacting with students, if they have mediocre internet, it's going to affect the connection you have in class, which will then affect the mood and the energy and the dynamic. I highly recommend getting a direct connection. Of course, you need a good mic, headset. I personally don't love a headset because I feel like you can hear a lot of breathing. Also, I don't like the aesthetic of something on my head. Also, the top of my head starts to ache when I have headphones that are pushing down. So I have this blue snowball that I ordered from Amazon and my earbuds, which seems to work great. Use whatever works for you. Lighting can be a pain. I have been fighting with it for the last 2 years that I've been doing VIPKID. They teach you, professionals teach you that you're supposed to have 3-point lighting. I've tried to do this. I've tried to recreate a studio in my laundry room or garage or wherever I've been teaching with, limited success. This is the best I've got so far. Having a backlight is really helpful, although I know I have some shadows. But have good lighting on your face especially. A simple backdrop. My backdrop now is nothing fancy. I change it every once in a while. You just don't want a plant sticking out of your head. You don't want it too cluttered. As far as props go, I am the prop queen, and it's kind of a chaotic mess. I won't show you my desk. You really don't need a ton of props. The most useful ones for me, I use all the time, are my little star, my little heart. I use flashcards of the alphabet, animals, colors. I use little maps and stuff like China or America. I have pictures of my family and some activities that I like. Those always come in handy. My family. Microphone, you're definitely going to be using that. A stuffed animal and or puppet of some kind if you need to pretend to have a conversation. I've found that 2D props are just as helpful as 3D props. I just have this little panda cut out. You could print some things from the internet if you don't want to go buy a bunch of stuff or you don't have kids' toys to steal like I do. Keep it simple on the props, especially to start with, and then you'll figure out what works best for you. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is how you teach. Some techniques and attitude, really, I think, is what I think is the most helpful. The attitude that I'm talking about is even though I'm not I'm not present in their home, physically present, I am in their home. So I just try to visualize that I am sitting on their couch. I try to be respectful of other people who are in the house and not be too nosy. I also, when you're with a little kid, what do? You give them all the attention that you can. You have this look and this attitude that you are so interested in everything that they have to say, whether they say it wrong or whether they say it right. You're just so interested, and you're showing it with your face. You have big eyes, raised eyebrows, and you want to limit what you're saying. You're trying to encourage conversation and speech from them, so you don't want to sound like a basketball coach and be like, good job, well, that's so amazing, that's so fantastic, that's great work, wow, you're so smart. because that's too much. So what I do is I show it with my hands, my face, you know, that I'm so excited for them that they did it right, or I'm like, you're smart. And I choose one word and I vary it. I'll say terrific, fantastic, marvelous, yes, and enunciate really well when I'm giving them that little bit of praise. It helps if you know a little bit of sign language. It's the same, it's different, more, eat, drink, hello, goodbye. Just make it up if you don't really know. One thing that I didn't know at first is how much you can draw on the PowerPoint and make your instruction more clear, because you circle something, you show where you want them to read, please read, and then you draw an arrow, you underline where you want them to read. If you want them to circle something, then show them that you're circling, circle mom, if it's a really simple lesson. Also, another thing I do to create rapport with the student is to copy everything that they do. If they are drinking water, then I literally just grab my water bottle and do that. Also, if I ask them a question and they are not sure how to respond, I want to give them time, but I don't want to stare at them and make them uncomfortable, so I just pretend like I'm thinking, what did you do today? They're not really sure, so I'm just scratching my head. I'm just like, I don't know, to give them time to respond without them feeling so much pressure, discomfort. Also, really, before you ask them any questions, you want to answer the question yourself first. For example, before I even ask them their name, I tell them my name. I'm like, my name is Chrislyn. What is your name? Or like, I am from America. Where are you from? Or like, this is my family. Who is in your family? And of course you can see that I'm slowing down my speech, articulating. That's very helpful. Okay, the third subject I want to go into is what you teach. You have a PowerPoint. I'm not exactly sure everything that's on it, but I'm willing to bet that they're asking you to teach a letter of the alphabet. They probably picked P or T, is my guess, because these can be a little more difficult to teach because they are unvoiced consonants. For example, you don't engage the vocal cords when you teach them. So the mistake when teaching these is that you would say P says pa 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 pa, T says ta ta, but you can, if you have one of these, it's really handy. I got this at the dollar store. You can show that you are not using your vocal cords, but that you are pushing air through your mouth, like or sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's an example of what you can do in addition to showing them pictures like panda, tiger, etc. That can be helpful. You'll say it, they repeat it, you're giving them thumbs up. If you're teaching any kind of new vocabulary, such as panda or something, what you can do is you can just greet it. You say, hello panda, hello tiger, hello boy, whatever you're trying to teach. And you can say goodbye to it, etc. That's a very simple way of teaching vocabulary if you're trying to, if it's a very early student, they can't really form sentences. This is a panda, etc. Okay, then the final thing that I want to talk to you about today is praising them and correcting them. I talked about praising already a little bit, that do most of it with your face, etc. Use your reward system, of course, to praise them. I'm really not the best at reward systems. What I have come up with is at the end of class, I do give my students, I have stickers in this gumball machine, and I stick a quarter in, and then it has a sticker, and so they get a sticker each time, and I keep those in alphabetical order. And other reward systems, things that I've done to try to keep attention, I've literally just had a box of stuffed animals that I'm like, hello Mickey, and then Mickey sits on my shoulder for 2 minutes, and then I say, let's meet a new friend. These are for my really high maintenance students that have a hard time keeping their attention. They just have to have change all the time. Of course, there's a million videos about reward systems. Like I said, I'm not super good at them. Mostly I think I'm the reward. I'm like, hey, I'm funny. I got a clown nose, I try to keep their attention with humor. I have a clown nose. I got all sorts of hats and headbands. I got my pirate, sometimes I'll even put a little parrot on my shoulder. I have glasses. If I'm trying to get their attention, I'm like, what's your favorite color? And then I wear the glasses that have their favorite color. Sometimes I can play one song on the harmonica, so I'll play that if they are just clueless, not paying attention. You want to hear a little bit of it? I know one song. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Yeah, you know what it is, don't you? It's the only one I know. So that seems to get their attention. Other things that I might, it's like I got a Spider-Man, so then I pretend like I'm Spider-Man. I'm like, Jimmy, where are you? Because Jimmy's laying on the ground and he's not in the camera view. Most students are pretty good, so you're not going to have too many disciplinary issues. What the interviewer is going to act out, I'm sure, is mispronouncing a word or omitting an article, like this is cat instead of this is a cat. What I do is I hold up my fingers and I say this is a cat, or else even hold up my flashcard, a dog, a ball, etc. That seems to help. If they're, let's see, basically you don't want to overcorrect them, and you don't want to interrupt them when they make mistakes. It's so discouraging when someone is just correcting you all of the time and interrupting what you're saying. So if they're reading a whole passage and they miss like 3 or 4 words or more, then I keep those in mind, and then when they're done, I'm like, you read very well. And then I circle a word that they missed and ask them to try to do it again, and then I help correct them on that. But, don't correct every mistake that they make and every pronunciation error, because then they just feel discouraged. What you want is for them to feel happy, you want them to feel safe, and just successful at communicating. If they can communicate an idea to you without it being perfect, fantastic. That's fantastic. Is there anything else I want to say? All I want to say is, like, my two pros for teaching for VIPKID. One is that it gets me up in the morning, and you don't have to teach in the morning, but I love that it gets me up. Nothing else would motivate me to get up and go about my day. I get to the gym after, I'm nice and alert. On the days that I don't have to teach and I think, oh, I'm going to get up like early like I usually do so that I can work on this other thing, I never do. It motivates me to get up and get going. Get up, dress up, show up. And then my second thing would be that I feel like an ambassador. Like I am helping our world come closer to world peace because I'm developing relationships with these kids, and they're going to be the leaders of their country one day, and they'll always have this connection with the American people, and VIPKID is actually expanding beyond just China. It's so cool. It's really indescribable. I've just made so many great relationships with kids and learned so much more about Asia than I ever knew before. All of a sudden I'm just so fascinated with this culture, and I feel like a smarter, more cultured person because of it. One con I will mention is that sometimes people don't take your job seriously. You're just an ESL teacher. You just teach online. You just teach English. You do that, and that's so easy. Well, it's really not that easy. It takes a lot of skills, and it takes a lot of commitment. I mean, even sometimes you don't even take yourself seriously. I find myself saying, "Oh yeah, I have a job. It's in my house. I teach English to kids online." I find myself saying it that way as if I'm apologizing for it, but it's actually can be a very professional and rewarding job, whether or not you plan to do it forever. So thank you for listening. Good luck on your interview. Let me know how else I can support and help you. Ciao.